Late Sunday night, phones buzzed across Oklahoma. One notification. No sound. But it destroyed everything.
Almost a year before she...
No warning. No goodbye. Just erased. And minutes later, a name nobody expected reappeared. Miranda Lambert. Back in the family circle. On the same night Gwen was kicked out.
I used to love you.
What Blake's mother said at that dinner table hours before. 5 words that froze the entire room cold.
We were never meant for two or die.
I want my son back. He saw the notification. He was online, and he did absolutely nothing to stop it. What happened inside that Oklahoma house is about to change everything you thought you knew about this family. And trust me, this story is far from over. It didn't blow up on social media, didn't trend on Twitter or nothing. Dorothy Shelton, that's Blake's mom, quietly unfollowed Gwen on Instagram. Fans caught it right away, of course. Some people said, oh, it's probably just a glitch in the app. Others figured she was just cleaning up her account. But women who actually understand how family dynamics really work, they knew way better than that. When a mother pulls back like that, it's never ever by accident. That little move wasn't no mistake. That was her warning shot fired.
I used to love you.
Now here's where things start getting real interesting. According to someone who's watched this family operate for years now, Dorothy had been keeping close track of patterns way before that unfollow even happened. Blake missing hometown events he never used to skip, fewer weekends actually showing up at the ranch. Holiday planning getting pushed back week after week. Family birthdays getting acknowledged late, or honestly sometimes not acknowledged at all. At first the excuses all made sense, right? Work stuff. Crazy filming schedules. All that Hollywood chaos everyone deals with out there. But moms don't miss those kind of details ever. They notice when their kid stops showing up the way he used to. And Dorothy had been quietly asking herself one painful question for weeks now. When's he gonna come home for more than just a quick photo opportunity? That word home hits way different in Oklahoma. It ain't about property or vacation houses with pools. It means actually belonging somewhere real. It means having deep roots. And Dorothy was watching those roots get yanked up one by one while everyone else just smiled pretty for the cameras. But here's the part that changes everything you thought you knew about this whole messy situation.
If I could just come in, I swear I'll leave.
Sunday dinner went down like it always does at the Shelton place. Whole family showed up same as always. Plates getting passed around the big wooden table, country music playing soft somewhere in the background. Laughing at first, people sharing old stories from back in the day. From the outside looking in, everything seemed totally normal and fine. But underneath all that warmth, something felt different this time around. One insider described Dorothy's whole vibe that night as not angry exactly, more like resolved. And there's a massive difference between those two things if you really think about it. Anger flares up hot and eventually burns itself out. Conviction just settles in deep and it stays there forever. When dessert plates got cleared away and dishes piled up high in the sink, Dorothy apparently said something that made the whole room freeze cold. Just 5 words that nobody saw coming. I want my son back. Not the famous celebrity version of Blake. Not that filtered, polished Instagram version everyone sees. Not the guy walking red carpets out in Los Angeles every other week. Her son. The real one she raised. The one who grew up playing in Oklahoma dirt. The one who never used to forget where he came from. The one she feels like she's been losing piece by painful piece over these years.
Back at me. Now hold on, 'cause I ain't done.
According to folks who were actually sitting there at that table, that one sentence completely shifted the whole energy in the room. Because when a mama speaks that way at her own dinner table, surrounded by her own blood, everyone immediately knows which direction the wind is blowing next. You're not going to believe what happened just a few hours after that dinner ended. Around 10:47 that night, Oklahoma time, phones started buzzing everywhere. A notification flashed real quick on multiple screens across the family. Gwen Stefani was removed from the group. No goodbye message. No argument beforehand, just cold administrative removal. Clean. Quick. Done. And within seconds, that notification just disappeared completely. But not before multiple people caught it. Not before word started quietly spreading around. And in tight-knit families like this one, getting kicked out of that inner circle ain't just symbolic or dramatic. It's completely permanent.
Who you married to? Wanna say it now? Wanna make it clear?
It's just a group chat, right? Why does any of this even matter that much? But here's what people on the outside really don't understand about family group chats. Especially in old-school traditional households like this one. These aren't just casual little spaces for sharing memes and jokes. They're like digital kitchens. Family planning headquarters. where real, actual belonging gets confirmed every single day of your life. Holiday coordination happens in there. Birthday celebrations get organized in there. Inside jokes live and grow in there for years. Family photos get shared there before anywhere else in the world. When you're in that group, you are family. Period. When you're removed from that group, you simply are not anymore. And Gwen? She got removed without a single person saying one word about why. But hold up a second here, because what happened next is honestly even more wild than the removal itself was. Sources are saying that just minutes after Gwen got kicked out in that same group chat, real quiet, like no big announcement or anything, no celebration whatsoever, Miranda Lambert got added right back in. Let that actually sit with you for a second here. Blake's ex-wife. The woman everybody figured was ancient history by now. Suddenly she's back in the family group. On the exact same night Gwen gets kicked out, that kind of timing just don't happen by accident. There's absolutely no way that's just coincidence. For longtime fans who've been following this whole saga for years now, that little detail felt incredibly symbolic. Miranda represents shared history, country music root, Oklahoma soil through and through. Gwen represents transformation, Hollywood spotlight. That glossy Los Angeles lifestyle, two completely different universes basically. And when families start feeling like they're losing somebody they love, they naturally lean back toward what feels familiar and safe. They pull that circle way tighter around whatever feels known to them.
Almost a year before she called him up.
Here's the question that just won't leave people alone though. Where the heck was Blake during all of this drama unfolding? Did he even know about it? Did he actually agree with it? Did he try fighting it at all? According to insiders, he definitely saw that notification pop up on his screen that night. He was online right when the whole thing happened, and he did absolutely nothing whatsoever to undo it. Didn't add Gwen back. Didn't question his mama's decision even once. Didn't send any kind of message defending his own wife. Instead, around midnight, he posted a photo online. Not of Gwen. Not of Los Angeles. Not from some fancy studio session. Just a picture of his mother. Real simple caption underneath. Respectful tone, but honestly, you couldn't possibly miss what it meant. Fans picked up on that energy immediately, of course. It wasn't loud or dramatic at all. Wasn't hostile or confrontational either. But it lined up perfectly with what Dorothy had just done. And that kind of quiet alignment in moments like these, it speaks way louder than any public argument ever could. So what does Blake staying completely quiet actually mean here? Is it him agreeing with everything that happened? Is he just scared to go against his mom after all these years? Or is it something else entirely that we're all missing? That answer's definitely coming, I promise you. But first, you really need to understand what was happening on the other side of the country at the same exact time. Because while Oklahoma was busy circling the wagons tight, Los Angeles was telling a whole different kind of story. Across the country in Los Angeles, Gwen posted something that same night that made a lot of longtime followers pause and really wonder. Soft lighting everywhere in the shot, muted tones, a caption talking about new beginnings and energy shifts happening. No location tag attached. No family references anywhere at all. Comments all limited. The timing was honestly impossible to ignore here. Just hours after getting removed from the Shelton family circle, she was posting about fresh starts and new chapters. And women watching immediately recognized something very familiar in that specific tone. Isolation. That particular kind you feel when you've been part of something important and suddenly you're just not anymore.
It's hard to remember how it
Fewer replies to her messages in the family group. Less warmth coming from Dorothy in conversations. Exchanges that started feeling coded and kind of distant. Because here's the honest truth about family group chats that people don't discuss. When energy shifts, absolutely everybody feels it, even when nobody says a single word directly about it. Insiders say she even confronted Blake about all of it weeks earlier, not with anger or anything dramatic like that. Just directly asking the question that was bothering her, why does it feel like I'm not wanted there anymore? He reportedly just brushed it off like nothing. Said it was nothing to worry about. Said she was overthinking things way too much. But here's the thing about mothers that everyone knows deep down. They don't just brush stuff off and move on. They make decisions. And Dorothy had apparently made hers long before that Sunday night dinner ever even happened.
You stay here right beside me and watch
This
it.
isn't about Dorothy being anti-Hollywood or hating famous people in general. This isn't about jealousy over attention or fighting for control of her son. According to people who actually know her well, this is about protection, pure and simple. Nothing more complicated than that. To Dorothy, Family isn't about brand alignment or celebrity power couples that look good together in magazines. It's bloodline continuity passed down properly. It's traditions handed down carefully through generations. It's shared values that don't just change based on what happens to be trending that particular week. And when she said, "I want my son back," she wasn't attacking anybody specifically as a person. She was defending a version of Blake that she genuinely believes is slowly disappearing right in front of her. That's exactly what makes this whole messy situation so incredibly complicated to figure out. Because to half the audience watching this unfold, Dorothy looks like a villain interfering in her grown son's marriage. To the other half of folks watching, she looks like a hero trying desperately to save him from losing himself completely.
I just had to come back.
There's actually another layer to all of this that nobody else is really reporting on yet. Some insiders believe this whole thing wasn't even just about Gwen specifically as a person. It was really about Blake's entire transformation over these past few years. New polished image, new social circles he runs in, new lifestyle patterns that look nothing like before. Less cowboy boots and quiet ranch mornings, more spotlight appearances and red carpet events everywhere. Less privacy, way more public exposure constantly. And mothers from small towns like Oklahoma, they often see those kinds of big city shifts as erosion of character, not positive evolution at all, as slowly losing yourself over time, not finding yourself like people always claim. So when Dorothy removed Gwen from that family group chat, some people believe it wasn't personal rejection of her as a human being at all. It was recalibration of the whole family direction. A powerful message sent through quiet action instead of loud words. A line drawn firmly but quietly in the digital sand for everyone to see. Honestly, the internet absolutely exploded everywhere you looked. Comment sections on every platform filled up within just a few hours. She was never fully accepted there anyway. A mother always knows what's best for her kids. We all saw this coming for years now, honestly. You cannot fake being country forever. The opinions poured in from everywhere and they were incredibly strong on both sides of the argument. But here's what actually fascinates people most about this entire dramatic situation. Blake has still said absolutely nothing about it publicly, no denial of what happened. No clarification on the details. No real defense of his wife at all. Just complete and total silence from his end. And in situations exactly like this, 1. Silence becomes its own loud story that people interpret. Because when you don't bother correcting a narrative people are spreading, they just assume it must be true. When you don't publicly defend someone who matters to you, people assume you must actually agree with all the criticism. Whether that's fair or not, that's just how the public works these days. So let me ask you something real here for a second. What you waiting for? Tension building. If you've ever been a mother watching your own child drift slowly into a relationship you weren't comfortable with at all, what would you have done in that spot? Would you speak out publicly and risk all that embarrassment and drama? Or would you act quietly behind closed doors where nobody can see what you're doing? Would you argue openly and create all kinds of public drama? Or would you simply just remove access to your inner family circle without explaining yourself? Because sometimes the absolute strongest power move isn't yelling at people or having big confrontations everyone can watch. It's quietly closing that door and personally deciding who gets to stay inside with your family.
But that ain't gonna work for me.
Here's that painful contrast that keeps haunting everyone following this whole story closely. In Oklahoma that Sunday night, there were shared family dinners and restored old connections and precious family history being actively protected. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, there were filtered photos and super vague captions and carefully controlled comment sections on everything. Two completely different worlds existing at the exact same time. One decisive action from a mother who'd had enough. And one massive unanswered question just hanging heavy over absolutely everything. Did Blake choose silence because he actually agrees with what his mother did? Or simply because he genuinely doesn't know how to oppose her after all these years of following her lead? In rural families, there's something unspoken that outsiders very rarely understand at all. You do not challenge the family matriarch lightly or casually, especially not out in public where everyone can watch and judge. Especially not when she genuinely believes with her whole heart that she is protecting you from yourself. Honestly, this story is really far from being finished yet. Because group chats can remove people quickly. They can also restore people just as fast too. But they leave digital footprints behind that just don't ever fully disappear no matter what. And insiders are saying there is serious tension building right now for another big conversation coming soon. A real one this time around. Face to face with no screens between them, not through emojis or text notifications. At the ranch in Oklahoma. right where absolutely everything first started for this family years ago. So now I'm going to ask you directly about all of this. When a mother firmly says that someone doesn't belong in her family circle anymore, is that cruelty? Or is that just pure maternal instinct doing exactly what it does best? If you were Gwen right now in this exact situation, would you fight hard to get back into that family circle? Or would you just walk away with your dignity still fully intact? And if you were Blake right now, caught painfully between your wife on one side and your mother on the other, would you choose to defend your marriage publicly? Or would you protect your Oklahoma roots first? Because one thing is absolutely certain here. When a family circle decides to close ranks like this, somebody always ends up standing outside looking in through the window. And the real question isn't about who got removed from that group chat anymore. It's about who Blake truly belongs with at the end of the day. Drop your honest answer down in the comments below. Team Dorothy if you believe a mother's instinct should always be trusted no matter what. Team Gwen if you think this whole thing crossed a major line. And if you've ever personally been removed from a family circle yourself, tell me that story. I genuinely read every single one. Make sure you subscribe if you want the update on what happens next. Because whatever goes down at that Oklahoma ranch soon, trust me, you're definitely gonna want to know about it.